welcome to the channel. So I want to talk a little bit about what's happened with Ricky Hatton and have a chat about mental health. So let's start with Ricky. I'll tell you what, mate, Ricky was one of my all-time favourite boxers. You know, his speed, his power, his ferocity in the ring were unmatched, weren't it? His heart and his desire to win were incredible. And his personality outside the ring as well. You know, his charisma, his wittiness, his charm. Ricky, even though I didn't know him, I saw him as a really good friend. And millions around the world felt the same. Because he was just a genuine all-round top geezer, wasn't he? It's like the end of the dinner speeches, the after-fight interviews. You know, he'd always be cracking jokes, and he never took himself serious, did he? I think a lot of people really warmed to that, and I know I did. But I watched all Ricky's fights. Unfortunately, I never got the chance to see him live. But my favourite fight probably was the Eamon McGee fight, when he got knocked down and then he fought back like an absolute lion, didn't he, like a warrior to win. Because Eamon McGee were no joke. He was an absolute fucking animal. But Ricky had that will, that desire, that strength just to win. And I completely admire Ricky for that. And that Costa Zoo fight and all. He battered Costa Zoo around ring from pillar to post, didn't he? But what I think really affected Ricky were when he lost to Floyd Mayweather. Me personally, I thought Ricky did fantastic in fight. He nearly knocked Floyd down at one point, didn't he? And he was in the fight up until he got knocked out. But as a result of that, as a result of Ricky losing, Ricky felt that he let a lot of people down because he lost. I don't know how many fights he were up until that point. He were like, were he 40 and somewhat undefeated? I could be wrong. But Ricky was a winner. He wanted to win. But as a result of him losing that, like I've just said, he felt like he let a lot of people down. And he went on a downward spiral, didn't he? He turned to beer. He turned to drugs. Which is not the right thing to do, but I get it because I've been there myself. You know, in certain similar situations in life. I've turned to the booze. I never took drugs. But it's not the right way to go about it, is it? But we all go through ups and downs. And we all have our own ways of dealing with things. And that was one of Ricky's ways. And I think what really tipped him over the edge as well is when he fought Manny Pacquiao and he got knocked out. I think Ricky would be up, spend all day drinking, like, and he'd do loads of sniffs so he'd stay awake so he could drink more. And I think that had a massive impact on his mental health. But Ricky, he was a massive advocate for mental health, weren't he? He always spoke about it. And he always spoke about bullying because he got bullied at school as well. And I admire him for speaking out about these things. I've got the utmost respect for him for trying to help people going through them situations, because he knew from his experiences that it's not nice and it can affect you. And he did loads for charities, you know, with mental health and things like that. So Ricky was a fucking fantastic, fucking all-round top genuine geezer. And not many people could pull cards like Ricky could. Everybody loved him. And I admire him for that. But I recently heard that he took his own life. And it's so sad to hear. I mean, he must have been going through some serious shit for him to want to do that. Because has he got 2 kids? I could be wrong. He's got children. He's got the money. He's got the, you know, the fame. Well, that can get to some people, can't it? But, you know, look at what he's done in his life. Look at the amount of people that he helped with mental health. And for him to want to end his life, mate, words can't describe. What he must have been going through upstairs to want to do that. And I don't know whether Ricky really opened up about his mental health to people. And I mean really, really open up. Maybe he did, I don't know. Maybe he was just at that point where he just had enough. And he felt like he'd exhausted every avenue to a point where he couldn't do no more. And he felt like he had to end it. I don't know. I never knew Ricky personally. This is just my opinion, like, but Ricky used to like a drink, didn't he? And I think he drunk as a coping mechanism, as a way to escape the depression and the mental health problems that he were going through. And it's like, you put an act on around people, don't you? Because clearly, you know, if you're in a pub, you're not going to open up about your mental health problems, are you? But yeah, it's like, I used to do the same thing. I used to turn to ale. I used to drink myself silly. Just like Ricky did, as a way to cope, as a way to escape from all the bullshit in life, from the things that you're going through. But it's not the right thing to do. It'll only lead you down a dark path. But nobody's perfect at the end of the day. We all have our ways and means of coping with things. But it's just so heartbreaking to hear that Ricky took his own life. Because he was such a sound lad, like. It's like I said, I never knew him, but I felt like I did. Because he never took himself seriously, did he? And he had a heart of gold. Anyway, he did his best to try and help people with mental health and bullying. Just like I'm trying to do. But I think we need to open up more and talk about mental health. Because if you don't, and if you keep it bottled up, it's not going to end well. Just take me for instance. Back when I was depressed, I've mentioned about this in many videos, but I'm going to say it again. I used to lock myself away. I didn't want to speak to nobody. I hated everybody and everything. Right? But that's not the right way to go about it. By speaking to people and opening up, as hard as it is, will help you. Me personally, it was like a pressure valve that got released when I eventually opened up. Because I let things build up inside me for fucking years and years, mate. To the point where I nearly did something very silly. But one day I thought, no, I'm not having this. I've got to start talking to people. I've got to start opening up about my problems. And I'm so glad I did. And if I didn't, maybe I wouldn't be here now. But I started talking to my mum about my issues. And you know what? When you open up to somebody, they might open up to you about their problems. Because nobody's perfect in this world, right? Nobody's got everything figured out. Everybody, and I mean everybody, goes through shit in their life at some point, you know, to do with mental health and everything. Yeah? But because I opened up to my mum, she opened up to me. And she was talking to me about her problems. And we had a right good discussion. And it was like a pressure got took off my shoulders, and I feel loads better for it. So if you're struggling with mental health, please, as difficult as it is, you've got to start talking to somebody. Do not let it build up inside you, right? 'Cause it's just going to end up bad. I know it's not easy, right? And I know this isn't the cure, but it's the first step that I took that really helped me do more things. And you know what? The only person that's going to help you is you. You have to look deep within yourself. And what I did, I used to always like fucking talk to myself all the time when I'm out walking down trail. I used to say to myself, James, why are you feeling like this? Why are you getting depressed? And by me talking to myself, I started to understand why. And I was like, well, for one, your diet's shit. For two, you're not fucking getting enough exercise. Because I used to go on the odd walks, but that were about it. Rest of the time I'd spend in my bedroom, like, just playing Xbox and doing stupid stuff. I never got enough fresh air, never got enough sunshine. And number three, you're working at a fucking job that you can't stand. And as a result of me talking to myself and trying to work out what was making me feel this way, I understood. And then I started doing things to try and improve my mental health, which I did. I started eating healthy, because your brain and your gut are linked. And if all you're doing is eating shit, you're going to feel like shit. It's as simple as that. And I started exercising more, which made me feel shitloads better. I changed my job, because that was one of the reasons why I was so depressed. It's because I was just working at a job that I just hated and I couldn't stand, you know. Freaking dealing with narcissistic psychopaths and bullies every day at work and doing monotonous tasks. That's what really got to me. So I changed that. I got my SIA license and I started doing some security work, which weren't the best, but it were a damn sight better than fucking factory work, I can tell you that. But this is what it's about. That's what made me feel better within myself, is the fact that at least I tried to change. Because if you're just going to be stuck somewhere your whole life and not be happy, it's just going to play havoc on your mental health. So I encourage anybody out there, if you're not happy at a job, I know it's not easy, but try your best to try and do something else. But one of the main things that stopped me was fear, and I had to overcome the fear of change. But it's got to be done at the end of the day. But yeah, that made me feel loads better. But mental health, it doesn't get talked about enough. And too many people, like I've said before in the video, bottle their emotions up. And I think a lot of people feel ashamed of opening up, feel scared. But please, never feel ashamed, never feel scared. It takes a strong person, yeah, to open up and be vulnerable. This is why I do it on YouTube, is because it makes me feel better inside. It takes a weight off my shoulders. That's the reason why I started this YouTube channel. Well, one of the main reasons is to get things off my chest and to talk about my problems. And like I said, it just makes me feel better inside. And it's good to talk, you know. I'm not saying that you need to start a YouTube channel and do what I'm doing, but you can do the same with a family member or a close friend. Open up to them about your problems. Don't feel ashamed about it. But I get it. It's like, when I was depressed, I never wanted to put pressure on people. I didn't want my family members to think, you know, to get hurt and to feel bad because I was in a bad way with my mental health and that. But end of the day, they're not going to be happy, are they? But they will be there for you. They will help you get through this. And maybe they might open up about their problems. Because if they see that, hold on a minute, you know, you're opening up, they might then feel inclined to open up about their issues. And then you can have a good chinwag and talk about things. Get things off your chest. Just please, don't do what I did and let it freaking bottle up inside you. Because it's just, you're going to end up going down a dark path. And it's not going to end up and it's not going to end well for you. But yeah, I know it's not easy. It's not. It took me many years. It's not an overnight process dealing with your mental health problems. Life to me, it's just one big lesson. What you go through, you grow through. I believe we all have to go through some kind of trial or tribulation. We have to go through the pain, the misery and suffering to become better people. But you've got to do the work on yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. Yeah? Get that fire in your belly. Get that determination. Get that passion back for life, yeah? Stop thinking negatively all the time. Stop feeling like the world's against you. Yeah. We all go through ups and downs. That's part of life. It's just how you deal with it and how you process it that matters. Life's not easy, I know that. But try and do something that motivates you. Try and do something that makes you happy. Try and do something that inspires you. It's like me with this YouTube channel. What gets me out of bed in the morning and gives me that spring in my step is knowing that I'm helping people with my YouTube channel. That makes me happy. I'm not saying that you have to do that. But what I'm trying to say is, just do something that gives you purpose in life. Do something that brings you fulfillment and joy. And it will help with your mental health massively, 100%. Yeah, take it from me. It's like I've mentioned before with my YouTube channel. It's helped me no end. Just knowing that I'm helping people with mental health problems and things like that. It gives me purpose in my life, yeah? And when I pass away, and I have to stand before God on Judgment Day, I want him to be proud of me. I want him to say, Jammer, you've done a cracking job. We're helping people with mental health. You've changed lives. Well done. That's what I want. And I tell you what, that's what's going to happen. Because I will never ever stop trying to help people. I will always make videos until the day I die. I promise that 100%, yeah? Because I feel that's my purpose in life. That's my calling, if that makes sense, yeah? But your purpose in life might be something different, yeah? But I don't want you to stand in front of God on Judgment Day regretting. And I don't want God to say to you, well, you could have done that. Well, why didn't you do this? I don't want that for you. Yeah? So please, I know it's hard. Mental health is very difficult. But you can overcome it. You can beat it. Yeah? You've just got to want to beat it. And you've just got to have that fire in your belly. And have that desire to change. You've got it in you. I believe it. If I can do it, any fucker can. Yeah? Have that desire. Have that belief. Not all life's bad. Yeah? Most of it is. But it's how you deal with it. And it's how you deal with it and process it. Try not to think negatively all the time. Try and be positive. I know it's not easy. But You can do this. 100%. Don't let your mental health problems get in the way of your dreams, your goals and your passion. Always try and strive to become a better person, become a better version of yourself. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Like I've said before in the video, life's just one big lesson. We have to go through the shit. What you go through, you grow through. You know, you've got to do the work on yourself. You've got to look deep inside. You have to work out, why am I feeling like this? And make the changes in your life to better yourself. But you have to do the work on yourself. Don't mask your problems with alcohol and substances, because that's just a short-term fix. It's not a long-term solution. Learn to deal with your issues and your emotions naturally, yeah? And then that will build strength. And then when shit happens in your life, you've got that to fall back on, if that makes sense. Anyway, guys, stay strong, keep your chin up. Keep pushing forward no matter what in life, yeah? Hope you all have a wicked day. Massive thank you for everybody that likes, shares, subscribes, comments and all that good shit. I love you all. Hopefully I'll see you on my next video. Respect.